Hey Aries, hey Leo, hey Sagittarius. Ooh, y'all didn't expect this, did y'all? Let's get into your Mercury Retrograde kit, okay? Tell you what's going to happen and how you can prepare for it. Or if there's nothing you can do at all and you just got to deal with it. You know what I mean? Let's see. What will my fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, experience during Mercury Retrograde from July to August? What will they experience? My. So many cards. Okay, we have the Seven of Cups that just came out in reverse. We have the Chariot. We also have the Lover's card. We have the Two of Swords, and we have the Seven of Swords, both in reverse. Hold on, let me move them up. And one more. What will my fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, experience this retrograde? All right. Who cards falling all over the place? Okay, let me see what I see immediately before I take my pause. A Cancer may be relevant to you. A Gemini may be relevant to you. Okay. I get the sense that there may be some air sign energy here with these two swords cards, but doesn't have to be. Okay. I already said Gemini, so there's that. There's some air sign energy in your vibe. I feel like there may be a lot of interactions with other fire signs as well. Okay. All right. Let me take a quick pause on this, fire signs. Let me read over this energy. Okay, right away, fire signs. There is a lot of great happening, but also a lot of inner overwhelm and this stuck feeling, right? So let's start with the good, right? We have the Chariot, we have the Lovers. There may be some romantic offers coming in very quickly for a lot of you. Some of you are already romantically involved. I'm gonna be honest, for some of you, the connection is moving pretty quickly. I say it as a warning because for some of you, it may be exciting to have that interest and have it all, feeling all great. But just be careful you're not moving too fast, because especially with the other cards, there may be like you're not getting the full picture. Like it's giving a little bit of love bomb for some of y'all. Just a little bit of love bomb, because it's so much happening so quickly. You don't have a chance to see what it actually is because you're being kind of like thrown love and this and that. And even if you are involved with someone already, it could be going fine, but then there may be some things that may pop out, some secrets that's being withheld, or maybe everyone's not fully expressing their emotions. So either it comes out this retrograde, or it just makes itself more apparent where you may be, because it's almost like with the two with the Lovers, you are aligned, but there may be some areas where someone's not being fully transparent, right? So it's almost like I need to tell you the truth about this and this and that. For others of you, I'm picking up an ex. I'm picking up, and it doesn't have to be a full-on ex. Sometimes it's just somebody that from your past, or somebody that you almost have an unfinished story with. They come back around and things are kind of revealed, but you don't really know what to do with this information at this point, because you may have already gotten over this person or this situation, but now it's resurfacing. Okay. Switching gears to that, we are very overwhelmed in July. For some of you, it's in a great way, meaning your career starts moving, money starts flowing, action starts happening on something that you have been at a standstill with for some time. But again, it's overwhelming. It's a lot of information. It's a lot to consider. You're not sure what to do with it. It's confusing, and it causes a little bit of self-doubt and wondering if you're doing the right thing, stuff like that. There's also a lot of secrets going on with the Seven of Swords and the High Priestess in reverse. We're almost lying to self. We're almost disconnected with self. And I was going to say that earlier. There may be this thing, fire signs, where you're not as intuitively connected as you usually are. It doesn't feel like a full-on cutoff, but for some of you, it may be hard to get the messages. It may be hard to get the clarity. If you're usually sharp and on point and know what you're talking about, it may seem like something's getting in your way, or you may feel stuck or blocked, or you may have the right intuition, but you may find yourself having trouble following that. Okay. So just consider that too. Give yourself the space and the time to process information, and don't feel like you always have to rush into everything, because I think that this Mercury retrograde specifically is going to slow you down a bit. And like almost like your internal servers are slow. So where you're usually like snappy and ready to go, it's almost like, hold on, wait, consider this decision, consider that decision, you know, etc., etc. So you may not be the sharpest, you know what I mean, like you normally are. Let's see, is there anything going on in your career and finances? Y'all, I got cards everywhere. Okay, let's see. Clarity, 2 cards. Anything going on for my fire signs in their career and finances? Okay, we have gift, giving and receiving, sudden windfall, generosity, financial support, work, surprise, and vacation. Anything else? What are my fire signs experiencing during Mercury retrograde in their career and their finances? Yeah, financial relief, being content, loving, care. Career, supportive role, job security, growing. Okay, so you guys may see some windfall and some growth in your career and finances, surprisingly. I don't really foresee or feel any, like I said, aside from this internal lag, I really don't see anything becoming too complicated in terms of work. I think if anything, you'll see a lot of growth. I'll also say it may come from a place where you don't expect it to as well. Like you may find yourself getting traction on something that you were like, I didn't even think about that. I put that project together in 15 minutes and all of a sudden, you know, it's the best project that my boss has seen ever. Like, you know, you ever had that happen to you where you just like threw something together and you got like all type of accolades for it and you was looking like, girl or boy, when did I barely put that together? It'll be kind of like that for you all, okay? This financial relief is sticking out for me because for some of you, it will be a financial relief. But for some of you, I'm getting this feeling of like there's something that you've been struggling with for a while and it kind of repairs itself. So you no longer have the problem or the struggle that you once had with whatever this thing was. For some of you, it will be car things, something with your car. If your car was missing a part or something like that, you may get it fixed. Now I know Mercury retrograde is normally known for car issues, car troubles, communication issues, but I feel like you kind of have that in reverse a little bit. Either that or you think that you've gotten it handled, but then something goes wrong. You know what I mean? Like it seems like everything was fine and then, oh wait, it's not fine anymore, okay? Or maybe it seems, I can't get it out. It seems like something is confusing you about the situation. So for example, let's say you do get your car fixed and maybe you fixed, I don't know, maybe a noise that it was making, but then now it's making a new noise. You see what I'm saying? Like it's almost like some other element comes in, but I don't think you really have to worry about it as much as you're probably gonna think about it. Okay. Child, cards falling all over the place. I was trying to be seamless. Okay. Birds, feathers may be relevant to you as well. Like this feather is really sticking out for me. Okay, so let's see. Anything about their relationships, romantic or platonic. Anything that my fire signs need to know about their relationships during Mercury retrograde. What do they need to look out for, Spirit? Okay, anxiety, stress, depression, panic attacks. What do my fire signs need to look out for in their relationships and during Mercury retrograde, Spirit guides? What will they experience? What do they need to know about and be prepared for? Thank you. Yep. Confirmation. There goes that romantic feelings, falling in love, affection, happiness. So yes, some of y'all falling in love, period. Not gonna lie. It kind of depends because I'm getting heavy Sagittarius energy for that and maybe a little bit of Leo. So some of you, my Leos and my Sagittarius, y'all may have, I'm not saying not you, Aries. I'm not saying that. I just think that this may be a more powerful month for romance for my other 2 fire signs. But yeah, there's some romantic feelings coming up. I'm going to be real with you though. For some of you guys, you don't trust it, right? There's something going on with the relationship where you can't settle that, you know, with this person yet. Like you don't feel completely safe or you don't feel completely settled. Because I feel like I get this feeling of really liking someone but then still having a question, or really loving someone but there's still a question, there's still confusion, there's still something that's not clear, and that may come up as well. That's where this stress and like this little panic is coming from. For others of you, you just have a partner or you have someone around you who's a little bit, I don't want to call it depressed, but they're a little bit of a downer, that's for sure. They have a lot going on, and so that may be affecting your energy as well. Another thing that I'm picking up on is your energy, your restless energy. You may find yourself, like I said, very anxious, very, you know, it's for some of you, it won't feel negative. It'll just feel panicked because you want to do something, you want to move forward, you want to make moves, but then your brain may be in 100 places, or you may find yourself like being extremely hard on yourself for not getting something done or not getting something done a certain way. So watch out for that as well. If anything, fire signs, it feels like there's a slowness within, not necessarily when it comes to other people and miscommunications. Could it happen? Yes. But if it does happen, I think the biggest thing that I'm picking up is miscommunication. So like you saying something clearly, but someone else taking what you said wrong, or or putting it in a different context than what you actually meant it to be. Like questioning your intentions is something that I'm picking up on. But that doesn't feel like it's coming from a romantic place. It honestly could be anywhere. For some, it doesn't feel like there's a particular person or situation. For all of you, it may be different. For some of you, it'll be in your relationships. For others, it'll be, your coworkers, your friends, something like that. Okay, so last bit. How can they prepare for this Mercury retrograde? What advice do you have for my fire signs during this Mercury retrograde, Spirit? Confidence, period, because you're going to always have that. What else do you need for them to have, Spirit guides, in this Mercury retrograde? My fire signs. How can they prepare for this? Y'all are getting so many cards. I was coming at this with like 3 cards. Baby, please. Confidence, happiness, psychic abilities. What did we talk about earlier? Peace. Okay. Animals. Pay attention to your animals. I will say right off the bat, staying content, keeping your energy leveled as much as possible, making sure you're getting sleep, making sure that you are eating well, making sure that you are just of sound mind, because I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna be overwhelmed and confused anyway. So you don't want to do anything that's going to add to that. Don't find yourself not sleeping, or for somebody I just heard, like dwelling on the past too heavy, because that's going to stick you in an energy that you don't necessarily want to be in for this Mercury retrograde. Get some clarity psychically if you need to. Make sure you're keeping up with your psychic routines. Your intuitive routines. Any type of meditation. If you have a spiritual counselor or somebody you go to, like doing those things, doing your exercises. And the reason why that's important is because, again, you're going to have so much mental clutter. You're going to need something to help you get that out. Peace is self-explanatory. Keep your peace. For somebody I just heard, don't pick fights. Not because you don't have a right to stand up for yourself, but because you are at a very you're at risk of being misunderstood more than usual. Put it like that. And then animals, okay? Pay attention to animal signs. Pay attention to your animal, anything they may be trying to tell you. For somebody specific, I just heard your animal is trying to tell you something, and I think you may have noticed it, but you may have dismissed it. So make sure you go back over if you're thinking like, oh, Fluffy was acting strange. Well, they probably were acting strange. Look into it, okay, my love? But that's all I'm seeing for you for Mercury retrograde. I hope this helped. Have fun. Bye. Hello, my earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Let's get into it. What do my earth signs need to know about Mercury retrograde? What will they experience? Y'all, these cards have been coming out crazy style. 8 of Pentacles. What do my earth signs need to know about Mercury retrograde? What will they experience this Mercury retrograde? Period. Queen of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius energy. I don't know if we're going to need that many, but let's see. Anything else for my earth signs? What do they need to know about this Mercury retrograde? What will they experience this Mercury retrograde? Yeah, it's more 9 of Wands. Every time I think it's going to be a quick read, and they be like, girl, nah, we got stuff to say. 9 of Wands, the Tower card. One more. Anything else for my earth signs? Wow, that's entirely too many. Just one. For my earth signs experience this Mercury retrograde. Okay, period. All right, earth signs. Let's see if anything off the top of my head. No, I think I've seen some signs for you all. Let me sit with this for a second. Let me see what the message is. So right off the top of my head, earth signs, There's a lot of courage and creativity in your spread. I think the best part about Mercury retrograde for you will be that you may have a sense of urgency and a sense to like make change and speak up, and I'll get back to that later, but you'll kind of feel this surge of action oriented energy, especially when it comes to work, especially when it comes to improving self-improvement, improving your life. The issue is one or two things. Either you will feel like a hyper perfectionist and you will criticize yourself and everybody else, honey, to to the end of the earth, or you will find yourself not knowing where to focus all of this energy that you're getting. And so that may come up too, where you're just like, you're trying to wrangle things in, especially at work, especially with your forward movement. But it's hard because you're like, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do that and I need to do this and I forgot to do that and da 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 da. So there's like a lot going on in your mind and in your energy, and it's not basically it's not leading anything, it's not adding up to anything. So you may find yourself feeling like you're not being as productive as you want to be, despite the fact that you're almost in a way doing more work, even if it's just energetically. But again, watch out for perfectionism. Watch out for critical people who may make you feel like you need to be better or more perfect in some way, like even though you're doing extra great, they're putting extra pressure on you, or they're doing something or not doing something that makes you have to do more work than you're already doing, okay? Another thing that comes up is speaking up. And it's funny because these are actually trying not to be more positive than I thought, but because I feel like there's going to be some sort of chaos during this retrograde that you'll get to a point where you just cannot tolerate. And I'm going to be specific. For some of you, it'll be that there's a person or a situation that's kind of not coming at you in a negative way, but there's something that they're doing that's constantly either annoying you or impacting you in some way. And you are trying, maybe you before retrograde, you were trying to ignore it, or you were trying to give it room or grace. You may have said something or did something here and there, but you didn't really like address it to its full, like to your full capacity. I feel like during retrograde, Mercury retrograde, excuse me, y'all, you have like this moment where you're like, I cannot tolerate this any longer. And so you actually speak up and you speak your mind and you say something. If anything, if you don't feel that way now, like especially with us being in post retrograde energy, you may find yourself pre-retrograde energy, you may find yourself needing to do that. You may find that in this retrograde, you learn that that's what you have to do. I need to speak up more. I need to stick to my boundaries more. I don't think you have a problem with having the boundaries in the first place. I think it's about pushing them forward. I think it's about executing them and kind of like making sure that other people are following them. So retrograde may force you in a position where you have to say something. This doesn't work for me. I don't like this. I don't like you. I want this over here. I want that over there. Like that sort of thing. So it's almost like you have a more outward focused Mercury retrograde than my previous read for my fire signs. There may be an energy where you need to kind of address everybody. I do think some things go wrong. I'm not going to lie to you. But I think you recover well. I think whatever may go wrong is work related. Again, either you feel like you're wasting your time with something, you're wasting time on purpose. For somebody, I just heard computer issues, tech issues. We know that comes with Mercury retrograde, but this may be something very frustrating because it's probably something you've been working on, or something that you need to work at that moment and then it stops working. And then for others of you, it'll just be perfectionism and like, almost having a breakdown because things can't work out the way that you've been trying to make them work out. Okay. Now there's also some potential for some new relationships that blossom. I'm gonna be honest, they don't feel romantic. We will be pulling cards on that, but they don't feel romantic to me, earth signs. It feels like business relationships. It feels like creative relationships. Like I said, there's a possibility for love, and we'll see what the love cards say, but I don't really feel that. It feels like you're connecting in a new way with other people while still being logical, while still being focused on your goal. Clarity. What's going on in my earth signs career during the Mercury retrograde? What's going on with work and career and money for my earth signs during Mercury retrograde? Pendulum. fluctuating income, indecision, new strategy, seasonal work, job change, making choices, clarity. What will my earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo experience during within their career? Overcoming obstacles, power play, wealth. Careers, you could be an owner, a boss, you could be taking charge, you could be making progress. Okay, cool. Couple things coming up. Indecision sticks out for me. It doesn't feel like you're indecisive, but for some of you, you are. Because I will say that there's somebody who's watching this that's considering leaving where they currently work or their current career. Even if you're not going to leave fully, you may be thinking about other avenues or other ways of movement right now. But I would say wait until after Mercury retrograde to do anything about that. But there may be something that may happen where you're like, you know what, let me see. Income may be a problem, but I don't think that it's income. I think it's where you work. Like, you're not getting the hours, or you are getting the hours, or maybe the hours are funny, or maybe it's a slow season, or there's something about that that's kind of annoying you when it comes to finances. You do figure it out. You do overcome the obstacles. We love that for you. You figure it out by sometime towards the end of the month, or money starts flowing in like normal. Like I said, you have a lot of, like, you see this taking charge, you have a lot of progressive, like, you're ready to take charge for sure. The power play sticks out for me as well. You may be in charge or a leader in some way, and you also could be an entrepreneur, but I'm picking up a specific situation where you may have to play mind games with somebody who's playing mind games with you when it comes to work. If it's a boss, you may be like leveraging how important you are to the company or something like that. You do something where you kind of play ball with them. For others of you, I'm picking up something along the lines of, like, maybe you have somebody who works under you or works next to you who just like does things a certain way, so you may have to play a game with them as well. Like, you literally try a new strategy with them. If you're an entrepreneur, you try a new strategy in your career field. Okay, so clarity in your love and relationships. Real quick, Spirit. What will my earth signs experience in their love and relationships mostly? What's the overall theme for them in their relationships in the month? During this retrograde. I'm so used to doing monthly readings like this. Change. Come on, make it abundantly clear. Oh, you know what? Nope, because I'm going to take it. I'm going to try to make this quick, y'all, because I was supposed to make these about 10 minutes. They probably going to be longer. We have change, regeneration, growth, metamorphosis, cycles. We have anxiety that came up. Date. Some of you may go out on a date. Okay, so yeah, potential new relationships. That's a third party situation that pops up. Addiction. And then we have snake. I just heard very clearly for someone's gossiping about you, or there's gossip that becomes like complicated, right? Like, you figure out there's something that's being said, there's a narrative that's being spun, there's something going on with that. Okay. I do think some of you will go on a date. This is a very fresh relationship, or you're at least trying to get a date out of someone. I'm not going to lie, somebody's playing the field though. Somebody has multiple people that they're interested in, or multiple people that they're trying to get involved with. Be careful about jumping, or like having multiple people kind of jump on you, or you jumping on somebody else about something. I think that's where this like shady deception kind of enemies energy comes from. And it's like someone kind of like, I don't know. It's like multiple people jumping in on somebody. Obviously, there's a chance for a third party, but it doesn't feel like anyone's cheating. It's possible that they could be, but it feels like there's an interference. I just heard introduction to new energy too. So if someone is cheating, this may be a new thing. Like, you didn't even know that they were doing it. It just came out of nowhere, but I don't think so. Okay, careful about addictions getting out of hand. Too much drinking, too much smoking, you know what I mean? Not judging, I'm just saying it might get out of hand. It may cause you some anxiety and depression. It may cause problems, okay? Or someone has a habit of being dismissive, and that may come up as well. So clarity, what's the overall preparation kit for my earth signs in during this Mercury retrograde? What advice do you have for them, Spirit? How can they get through this Mercury retrograde unscathed? cards falling everywhere. Bear with me. Career. So focusing on your career. Focusing on friendship. Clarity. Any advice? Any advice for my earth signs during this Mercury retrograde? And now what we've been talking about this whole reading. Boundaries, darling. You need better boundaries. I'm not even going to try to overread that. You need better boundaries in your career, and you need better boundaries in your friendships, in whatever form that they look like. Because it could be coworkers, it could be, friends that you've had all your life, it could be brand new friends. But we need better boundaries with all of these things. In your career, are you staying up too late? Are you doing too much work? Are you not doing enough work and you need to get some more discipline under your belt? Only you know the answer to that, okay, my love? I hope this resonated for you, earth signs. Have a happy Mercury retrograde. Bye. Hey, my air babies, let's get into it. What does Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius need to know about this Mercury retrograde that's coming up on us? What do my air signs need to know? What will they experience during Mercury retrograde, Spirit? 10 of Wands out. 3 of Wands out. Oops. Well, these cards is flying out. The Emperor in reverse. And we have the 2 of Pentacles, the 4 of Wands, and the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Aries energy, possible Cancer energy popping up here. Earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy. A celebration, a marriage, a party may be relevant. Okay, being barefoot at this current moment. Or, being barefoot in some type of capacity, like grounding, being a thing that you're putting in your routine, leaving somewhere. A wedding ring or a ring that you frequently wear on your fingers, a tattoo, the Ankh symbol, like Mr. Emperor here. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me meditate over these cards. Okay, air signs. So something that I'm picking up just intuitively is that you are looking toward the future. You are working towards the future with this 10 of Wands and this 3 of Wands next to each other. Whatever you're doing right now, maybe you've picked up extra responsibilities. Maybe you have multiple jobs. Maybe you have taken on, not a new responsibility, but taking on something extra so that you can propel yourself into the next chapter of your life. So for a lot of you, this is a very hopeful time, right? But I think the issue is you may find yourself getting stuck. You may find yourself getting stuck on perfectionism, stuck on self-discipline. So while we have all of these plans in motion, they feel heavier, and they may feel like, okay, I don't even feel like you're being slowed down. It just feels like we're at a stop because we're trying to think, we're trying to understand. Maybe there's some like health things going on, or some, like, for some of you, mental health things going on. So it kind of puts us in a space of stuckness. I don't think you're there forever. I just think Mercury retrograde kind of slows you down and makes you think for a second. Similar to my fire signs, now you need to see if what all of this hard work is amounting to something, or is there more hard work that we need to apply? Because the reason why I say that there's some perfectionist tendencies is that the Emperor can be a little bit of a control freak. Upright, he has it under control. In reverse, he's doing too much. He's trying to control every daggone thing, and I feel like that may be keeping you from the progress that you actually want. Don't get me wrong, hard work is never a problem. You hustling and doing what you got to do to make ends meet is never a problem. The issue is when you start to opt out of positive opportunities because they're not going specifically how you want them to go, or you find yourself staying back from opportunities because you're afraid of this and that. That's when you start kind of getting in your own way because you're trying to over control. Also, over committing. When we have 2 of Pentacles in reverse, you may find yourself having too many things going on, or being around people who have too many things going on, and that kind of stresses you out a little bit. Maybe you discover that you overbooked yourself, or you discover that you have too many commitments. I just heard for somebody, you just straight up drop one. And while that may feel the best for you energetically, I don't want to say it backfires, but it does a little bit. Someone is very disappointed that you kind of dropped it, but you know, it goes how it goes. For the most part, though, there's a lot of positivity. It's just a lot to bear, right? Because for some of you, there's good things happening, like especially with this Four of Wands, there's possibility of a great celebration, something wonderful happening in your life. Maybe there's some stability. You just got a home, or you finally found the place you wanted to stay, or something like that. But now there's like an extra burden. There's an extra bill. There's an extra, you got to unpack. You got to, like, there's more to do than what you originally came for, but what you expected, I suppose. Okay. Yeah. But there's some stuckness going on. This month, this Mercury retrograde is really going to test your self-discipline. And not only that, your process. Because I think you're getting the hang of the discipline part. But now you're like, okay, is this actually amounting to something, right? Or am I just doing stuff? Because sometimes we take on that extra job because we want the extra money. But really what you was trying to do was build wealth. Like, is that getting us where we trying to go? You know what I mean? Clarity on the career and finances for my air signs. How will their career and finances go this Mercury retrograde? Anything going on at work? Something that came out. We have coffin, bad investment, financial challenges, savings. Career, you can work in the office. You can work the night shift. You can have a job ending. For somebody, I heard not the night shift, but like an early morning shift. Rose, financial relief, being content, loving care, career, supportive role, job security, growing. Okay. So some things that may come up. Careful about bad investments. Investing your money and time poorly. You know, that comes up twice. Because it doesn't necessarily feel like a bad investment, like you spend your money. Something that's coming up is weird. It's like you put your money and your energy into something and you find that it's a waste. So for example, let's say you are planning an event. You say you buy 200 sandwiches because you expect 200 people to be in attendance, and you may find that only 100 come. Or maybe 200 do come, but only 50 eat the sandwiches. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's something where you feel like you may have spent your time and your energy on it and it didn't really amount to what you wanted it to amount to. So watch out for things like that. It's not really anything that you can prepare for, because this feels like something that throws you off by surprise. But if you can prepare for those challenges and not frustrate yourself, that'd be great. Yeah. If you do work multiple shifts at different jobs, you're going to be very tired. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you. You will be tired. And more so just simply because there's not enough time in the day, right? Because I think for some of you, you're trying to get stable. And for some of you, this doesn't look like just financial stability. For some of you, most of you, it is. I want to have a stable job. I want to be making this amount, blah, 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 blah. But for others of you, it feels like I have a stable career, but there's something else I'm trying to make sure is off the ground. And it doesn't even have to be career-wise. It could be just financially, or maybe you want your family living a certain way within, like you have a goal in mind and you want it to manifest soon. So you're focused on that. Okay, so those may be things that kind of go a little wonky this month, simply because you want it so badly, I guess. But nothing horrible, just poor time management, feeling stressed because you can't be you can be multiple places at one time, but then you're kind of like, can I? Shit. Clarity. What do my air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius need to know about their love lives? Ooh. What do they need to know about their love lives during this Mercury retrograde? Will anything, or their relationships as a whole? What will they experience? Mask. I hope y'all can see those. It's a million cards. I'm trying to fit them all in. Okay, mask. So it says hidden motive, concealed, disguise, grass is greener, jealousy, better option, unhappy, deserve better. Someone is not keeping it a buck with you. I think that I don't necessarily feel that there's a hidden motive, more than I think they are not being honest about what is bothering them, or one or both of you are not showing your full emotion. So that may block your connections this month, is somebody being too concealed, too hush-hush, too, like not trying to show all their cards. Because for some of you, it's in a positive way. But for others of you, it's kind of like, in that meaning, let me be specific, in a positive way, in a sense where they feel positively towards you, but they're trying to protect themselves. For others of you, there's actually a lie. There's a lie happening. This person is jealous of you. They want negative things to happen to you. I mean, not to you, but for you. You know what I mean? They don't like how progressive things are going for you, or vice versa. I ain't gonna lie to you. It could be vice versa. You may feel away. Jealous partners, possessive partners may be a thing. I just heard for somebody receiving an email that you didn't expect to receive, or like a message. Like you think that something is over with, or like you've said your piece, but then it kind of comes back around and they want to discuss it again, which may be a little annoying because you're like, I said what I said. You know what I mean? A relationship falls apart for some of you. I'm gonna be honest. And I'm gonna keep it a being with you because I'm sensing it intuitively. Don't try to force it together, especially not during retrograde. In my experience, most things that happen during retrograde fall apart after retrograde. So I would say if you're gonna make up with somebody, slow burn as much as you possibly can to make sure it's real. If you are going to stay in your relationship despite the fact that it has flaws, slow burn until after the retrograde to make sure it's real, because any sudden movements could end up looking real bad. But I think that there's going to be some exposure, and I think that exposure is healthy for you. It's needed. Okay, so we're going to move on into your quick advice. Any advice for my air signs this Mercury retrograde? How can they get through this retrograde unscathed? This Mercury retrograde, spirit, for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. What advice do you have for them to get through this Mercury retrograde unscathed? Inspiration, financial health, and I heard for somebody your health in general. My air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. How can they get through this Mercury retrograde unscathed, spirit? Make it clear. Thank you. Fertility. Okay. Something that I'm hearing from all of these three things. Ooh, wow, cars everywhere. Okay. Inspiration, financial health, fertility. Stay inspired. Kind of work under the surface, because there's a lot of fertility in your reading. There's a lot of soil and gardening in your reading. So it's like, and I've said this all the time. This is not a season for blooming and harvesting. This is a season for gardening. So I think you're in a gardening season. I wouldn't say make any big sudden movements, but I would say whatever you've been working on, keep working on it, but work to improve it, right? So if you know your schedule's all over the place, work to improve it. If you know that you double book, work to improve that. Stay inspired. Keep looking for ideas. Keep looking for ways to make things, I guess, more financially intelligent to make you money. Okay? Because you really are on fertile ground. You really are. It's just more of just putting the work in, putting the time in, putting the discipline in. And even if you have already been doing it, now it's it's time to shift. We're not just thinking about how can we make more money. We're thinking about how can we sustain ourselves for 10, 20, you know what I mean? Like, we're thinking the big picture, not just the immediate future type of thing. Okay? We're looking for wealth building. We're looking for this time next year, how can I make stuff better? No action just yet, but definitely progress. Okay, my love? Hope this resonated for you, and let me know about it in the comments. Bye. Hi, my water babies. Let's get into it. What do my Pisces, Cancer, what can my Pisces, Cancers, and Scorpios expect during Mercury retrograde? Spirit, make it abundantly clear. What will they expect? What can they expect? What will they experience during this Mercury retrograde from July to August? What will happen for my water signs during this Mercury retrograde? What will they experience? What type of delays? What do they need to prepare for? Thank you. Okay, off the top of the head, we have death here. So there is a heavy Scorpio influence, especially with the Knight of Cups. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpios may be relevant. A Virgo may be relevant with the Hermit. An air sign, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius may be relevant with the Knight of Swords to you this month. Lights going out, having to use a flashlight or a lantern. Camping may be relevant. Dirt roads. Chains, necklace. A cat playing with a ball of yarn. Someone with beady eyes or eyes that you feel like you can't trust. A letter. An important letter. Okay, let me get a couple seconds to mull this over my water signs. On the more positive side of things, water signs, it feels like there is a drive here. You want to do better. You want to move forward. And not just in the typical everyday way. It feels like one of those, like, you know how you get to a point where you know that you could do more and you should do more, and you're like, you know you're just better than what's going on around you, but you're not quite there yet, like, or you haven't quite, overcome that threshold. I think that's where you're kind of at right now, my water signs. Like, you're at that point where it's like, okay, I have what it takes. I know that I can achieve this. Maybe you've already achieved some of it, but now you're at the point where you're like, okay, I'm done playing. And so, my bad, y'all. It may like in recent days before the Mercury retrograde and into the Mercury retrograde, you may find that being a constant thing in your mind. How can I be better? How can I move forward? How can I, you know what I mean? You're trying to personally transform. Death can be an ending, but it's also a transformation when it comes to the tarot. So it being in reverse, you see how it says death and rebirth. Sometimes we're resisting the change, but I don't think that you're resisting the change. I think that there are external factors that are resisting you, water signs. I think that's what's going on. I think that you are trying to personally transform, and there may be people, there may be relationships that just do not gel with where you're trying to go. And that may be your frustration during Mercury retrograde, because you are ready to personally transform. You're ready to go forward, but you may find yourself wanting to do stuff alone because you're like, okay, how many times do I have to keep repeating myself to this one person? Like, because I feel like also with this Knight of Cups, if you're in a relationship or if you're dealing with someone romantically, and it does feel romantic, I don't feel like this is platonic at all, but it very well could be. There's someone who you're trying to communicate and you're trying to move things forward, but they're almost making things up. Like, they may have a tendency to accuse you of things, or maybe make up scenarios in their head. That's one thing. Or they just have like, they're moody, or they're jealous, or they have these things going on, and that just doesn't always fare well with what you're trying to do, right? Another scenario that I'm picking up is almost serving as a little bit of a distraction. You may welcome it sometimes, but there may be other times where you're like, okay, like I need to focus on what I need to focus on. So that maybe it gives ball and chain energy in a way where you're trying to move forward, and as much as you love and enjoy this person or this relationship, there's a heaviness or a weight. For some of you, it's more of in a positive way. You are happy, but we're getting to that. You know how you get into that relationship where you get to that happy point where you're just like laid up eating bonbons all day? There may be a little bit of that going on, right? But there's something going on within a relationship where you feel like it's holding you back. For most of you, it's not a full breakup. It's not like you want to get rid of this person. It's more of you want things to operate differently, basically. Okay? So with that being stated, you may find yourself wanting to do things alone more often, needing more peace. You know, where you would normally get a group of people together to do something, you may decide to do it by yourself. And that brings you a lot more fulfillment and a lot more joy. I do think that you may have some exes spinning the block, some people you cut off if you're a single water sign. Some people you cut off, or maybe some old flings resurfacing. I don't think anything's changed. I think if anything, your biggest lesson and what you'll probably overcome is just telling them no. Because especially for my Scorpios, you may want to entertain it because you want some entertainment, and you like, ooh, okay, they cute, or whatever, they make me feel like this and this and that. But you'll realize very quickly, like, you know what, no, this is not for my highest good. This is not what's gonna send me to the next level. Okay? And if it's not an ex, It may be some other habit. It may be it's something else. But you're so busy. You're trying to conform, transform. You don't have time for all of that old BS. I think you're going to overcome it. I do. Whatever this lesson is you learned during Mercury retrograde, I think you're going to pass with flying colors. But let's see. What will happen for my water signs in their career and finances? Anything happening for them? Wings, rising above money issue, business taking off, profit. Anything that may go wrong with them during this? Oh my goodness. Face, money skills, investor, taking risk, face value. Okay, career, self-made fame, exposure, reputation. Yeah, y'all hustling. Period. You are hustling. Whatever you're doing, whether it's work or something else, you are definitely hustling. You're trying to increase, whatever it is that you're doing to some degree. And I love that for you. I just will say, make sure that you are taking your time. Because I think that there's a risk to get into things that don't really move you forward because you're so busy trying to just go. You know what I mean? So just be careful about that. But otherwise, there's some positivity. For somebody I heard very clearly with this face card, you need to show your face. You need to appear more often. So if this is in a corporate sense, you need to be in more things. For somebody very specifically, I just heard stake your claim. Don't try to play cool. Don't try to play the background. If you know you did that, or you know that project was yours and blah, 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 then you need to be being the one to take over and say, hey, this is my project and I deserve the credit for it. If you are like a social media influencer or a social media person or content creator, like you need to, again, stake your claim, show your face, take some risks, get out there. Okay, you need more exposure is essentially what I'm saying. Because I think you're where you're if you're not where you want to be career-wise, you're very close. But what's holding you back is wanting to be too humble. Again, Mercury retrograde may not be the time to make these things happen, but it is something to start looking, toward and working toward and things of that nature. But I don't think you'll have a problem financially. Just double, triple check everything. Y'all know how it goes with Mercury retrograde. If you're signing anything, look it all over. If you're doing anything, look it all over. You don't want any problems. Okay? Clarity in their love and relationships. What's going on in my water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio? What's going on in their relationships in Mercury retrograde? Okay, distance, boundaries, far apart, get away. Clarity. What will my water signs experience in their relationships during retrograde? Mercury retrograde. Okay. Couple things coming up here. For my more happier water signs, you may be planning on travel. You may be planning a getaway. If it's not like actually traveling, it's just a time to be alone. Okay, maybe you're just coming back from travel. Somebody, I just heard matching tattoos, a snake tattoo, getting tattoos, something like that may be relevant. Okay. Something about Halloween may be relevant as well. Maybe planning a couple's costume. That's so random. But hey, I plan for Halloween early too. So hey, I ain't judging. But for anybody who's like unhappy, you may discover some disconnect. You feel like your partner's off. You're off. Maybe you're constantly having confusing like battles back and forth. Even if you're like physically close, there may be a mental distance that's happening or emotional distance that's happening, and you don't understand what's going on. If this is not within your romantic relationship, this is definitely in a relationship in your life somewhere. You feel that there's some tension and there's some weirdness. Like I said, we're not working together the same way we used to, and you're kind of curious about it, but at the same time, you can almost for some of you, you leave it and you're just kind of like, whatever, I'm happy. For some of you, you set boundaries, and not in the traditional sense in the way that we're used to. For some of you, it's more of like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Hey, I don't want to do it this way anymore, so I'm going to go this way, right? Like you just kind of speak up for yourself and say what you're going to and not going to do. Okay, so let's clarify. What advice do you have for my water sign spirit guides that will help them come through this Mercury retrograde unscathed? What do they need to know? What advice do you have for them? How can they get through this Mercury retrograde? How can they survive it? Career, focusing on your career, focusing on your manifestations, clarity. How can my water signs get through this Mercury retrograde unscathed? Spirit, make it clear. Life purpose. Y'all got life purpose twice, okay? So you're coming up on that. And, you know, I feel the need to read the book. I didn't have to read the book for any of these, any of these other ones. But I feel like you need to, there's a message there for you with this life purpose card. So let's find out. Oh, I skipped it. Okay. And, of course, you can pause to read the whole thing. Yeah. You have an important life purpose, and it's time to stop playing it safe. Period. And I'm going to leave that at that. You can read the rest on your own. But we have a spiritual experience changes your view. Trust your intuition. A new venture beckons. Consider your options carefully. Seek adventure. Embrace your life to the full. Okay. Taking risks. Remember we said that earlier. Seeking adventure. Again, it's used. Mercury retrograde does normally err on the side of caution. But I think that for a lot of you, as long as you're taking those cautions, you should still be exploring and taking risk, okay? What else is coming up? Because I think you guys are really, really close to, like, your life purpose, or maybe you're already like you living in it. Yeah, like you even have a new career beckons, a new opportunity. Like, y'all are getting all of those, okay? So maybe you need to just follow your heart and, you know, take the risks that they're telling you to take. Just be careful, you know, double, triple check everything, but don't play small. Stop playing small. Maybe that's what you discover. Yeah, focus on positive outcomes. Your goals are coming to beings. Look at that. Have patience. Yeah, it's going to be a good time for you. I think you guys might be the group of people who don't have as much trouble this retrograde. But we shall see. I hope this resonated for you, water signs. Let me know about it in the comments. Have a good Mercury retrograde. Bye.